sub-levels in the building prior to the plane hitting the building. And I believe that that was an explosion set up by explosive to actually weaken the foundation.
And nothing will ever change your mind that? You think
I was there, I saved people, I actually have the people available for the 9/11 Commission. That was the commission that was created to investigate this. They were never called, not even once. They're still available 5 years after, and the government came out with an official story that went against our experience on that day.
So the building's on fire, and I'm noticing there's no police yet. There's no fire trucks, and it's been a couple minutes, and I'm not sure that they seem like really long minutes. So as I'm in traffic, and the traffic is kind of creeping up, and people are driving away, and people are getting out of their cars, I got to a point where I can't go forward anymore, so I had to make a left turn. Some people were turning around, but I was concerned because at that point, it wasn't a terrorist attack. It's a tragic accident. My friends are up there, people I work with, so I was just going with the flow, I guess, at that point. And I was between World Trade Center 7 and World Trade Center 6 on Vesey Street. And when the South Tower event happens, it happened from my blind side because I was on the north side of the South Tower. So what you see from my side is a big orange explosion and debris, fire and debris raining down, and I've got the top down. And at the same time, that it's registering that that's not an accident from that, I see flashes going off in World Trade Center 6, which was, as you come to learn later, the U.S. Customs House and the Department of Labor, and that there's a big crater that goes through that all the way down into the subway. So anyway, that's Building 6.
Jamie Gangel, I just want to say that some of the descriptions coming from eyewitnesses in lower Manhattan of these explosions occurring are chilling. One man talked about getting off a PATH train, that's a subway train.
Just get out of the tunnel in the blue.
The subway tunnel?
Yeah.
These twin sisters, visiting from Alabama and Georgia, met in New York to share their 40th birthday. They were having coffee in the World Trade Center when the first plane struck.
And all of a sudden it sounded like, I don't know where the subway is, but it sounded like a subway collision, a bomb, and it was just pounding, boom, 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 and I literally thought the subway had exploded. And
did you see what happened? What happened?
Well, I was in the PATH train, and there was a huge explosion sound. Everyone came out.
Tell us what you saw when you exited the subway station due to a lack of smoke. Eileen.
It was very smoky, and then we exited on Church Street out of the PATH train station.
At the time, I was actually in the subway heading towards the World Trade Center right around Franklin Street, and after the first explosion, the subway station started to fill with smoke. The subway cars started to fill with smoke, and the subways actually stopped.
If you wish to bring anybody who's ever watched a building being demolished on purpose knows that if you're going to do this, you have to get at the under infrastructure of a building and bring it down.
Peter?
Yes, Dan.
Reports that devices were found did make it to the airwaves on 9/11, and some original footage confirmed what many investigations uncovered, that some firemen began to pack up and leave just before the towers collapsed because of suspicious devices being found.
Anything else you know that you'd like to add?
Just as I was coming out of the building, I heard somebody sort of ushering people away, and they were saying, you guys got to get out of here, it's bombed.
Many thanks, Lindsey Grimm, who saw this occurring at least.
It was a bomb. Bombed in another building. That was a bomb.
There was a secondary explosion, probably a device either planted before.
NBC's Pat Dawson is close to the scene of that attack. Pat?
Moments ago, I spoke to the chief of safety for the New York City Fire Department. The chief, Albert Turry, told me that he received word of the possibility of a secondary device, that is another bomb going off. He tried to get his men out as quickly as he could, but he said that there was another explosion which took place. And then an hour after the first hit here, with the first crash that took place, he said, there was another explosion that took place in one of the towers here. So obviously, according to his theory, he thinks that there were actually devices that were planted in the building.
Bomb in the building, start clearing out. Sorry, you said the bomb? What'd you say? The bomb in the building, start clearing out. Got it.
First one and then the other, some say after secondary explosions.
And there may have been secondary explosions as well that were detonated in the building by these terrorists.
His comrade was, firefighter was trapped about 500 feet in under some debris down West Street, and he turned around and said he saw a police officer walking with him carrying a 9mm pistol, and he asked him what he was doing, and he said that there were people in the area that were planting bombs after the planes had flown into the tower, that the bombs apparently, and this is just going on what one firefighter told me, police believe that there were bombers that were in the area after the planes hit the towers planting bombs, and that may have been what caused the further devastation. Are you still with me?
Yes, we're listening to you, Joe. It's just unbelievable what you're telling us.
Federal agencies that were down there do believe that there was some sort of explosive device somewhere else besides the planes hitting.
In fact, Rudy Giuliani received this warning, which is why they started to pack up and leave the area, moving their command post.
And several of them that I talked to 10 minutes, 12 minutes before they died. I was at the command post that the fire department had, and left them to go to the command post that we were establishing.
Did you go immediately to the Office of Emergency Management?
I went down to the scene, and we set up headquarters at 75 Barclay Street, which was right there with the police commissioner, the fire commissioner, the head of emergency management. And we were operating out of there when we were told that the World Trade Center was going to collapse.
Coming over our radio, get out of the area, the second tower is coming down.
They tell you the second tower is coming down?
Yes, it's about to collapse.
Mayor Rudolph Giuliani walked right past me here on Church Street and Duane Street, again about 4 blocks from that area, moving his entourage out of that region, and then just moments later was when the collapse happened.
So people should remain calm, they should remain where they are, except if they are in southern Manhattan. If you're below Canal Street, you should walk out southern Manhattan and walk north.
Then there was all the eyewitness testimony talking about the secondary explosions.
I mean, you had it on 9/11. There were numerous secondary explosions taking place in that building. There were continuous explosions.
When we got down to 6th floor, there was like another shake or another explosion. Everyone started panicking, but
There was another big explosion in the other tower. Flames coming out in this billowing grey smoke. People still not panicking. People not quite understanding what was going on. Then somebody said that they saw an airliner going to one of those towers. Then, I don't know, an hour later than that, we had that big explosion from much lower. I don't know what on earth caused that.
We heard another explosion, and I'm assuming that's the one that came from the lower level, since there were 2, and I said,
right, because it was like 18 minutes apart.
Well, this is, no, the first explosion, and there was a second explosion in the same building. There were 2 explosions.
Okay.
But then there were other doors that were locked, so we were brought into another floor when there was another explosion, and they finally let us continue to go down.
At 10:30, I tried to leave the building, but as soon as I got outside, I heard a second explosion and another